I accidentally sneezed right at the famous painting worth $50 million, spraying saliva all over it. I instinctively pulled out a handkerchief to wipe it, but after wiping, I nearly fainted on the spot. A huge blue smudge appeared across the masterpiece. Only then did I realize that the pen in my pocket had leaked ink at some point. I was completely dumbfounded. Even if I sold everything I had, I could never afford to pay for this painting. I hurried to lock the exhibition hall doors, carefully took down the masterpiece, and planned to moisten my sleeve to wipe it again. Unexpectedly, with a bit too much force, the canvas completely separated from the frame, and I accidentally stepped on the painting several times. This time it was utterly ruined. With no other choice, I covered the painting with a white cloth, disguised it as a table, and secretly slipped out of the hall. Next, I slipped into a storage room, rummaged through the shelves, and finally found a bottle of lacquer thinner. Trembling with nervousness, I wet a rag and started wiping, and surprisingly, all the blue ink was removed cleanly. I couldn't help but feel pleased with myself, thinking I was a total genius. Yet the moment I turned around, the painting that was just perfectly fine suddenly began to bubble up. I was scared nearly out of my wits again and rushed to stop the paint from dissolving further. Who knew that the melted paint came right off at the slightest touch? In a frantic attempt to fix it, I successfully turned that elegant old lady into an elegant headless figure. Left with no choice, I brought the ruined painting back to the gallery. To keep anyone from finding out, I cleverly blocked the main entrance with potted plants. The very next second, the curator, Nick, walked in through the side door and instantly noticed the masterpiece was missing from the wall. In utter disbelief, he questioned me about where the painting went. I stammered awkwardly for ages, but in the end, feeling extremely guilty, I lifted the cloth from the frame. Nick was the man in charge of the grand unveiling, and at that moment, he felt like his entire career and life were completely ruined. Refusing to face reality, he insisted on looking at the drawing on the painting once more. With the public eagerly anticipating tomorrow's unveiling ceremony and having no way out, we had to resign ourselves to fate and hang the ruined painting back in place. That night was destined to be sleepless for Nick, so he took me to a bar to drink heavily, hoping to drown all the worries away. Sure enough, thoroughly intoxicated, we even started singing loudly together. Back home late that night, knowing the massive disaster I caused, I tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Suddenly, I learned from Nick's son that there was a full-size poster of the famous painting in his bedroom. A brilliant idea hit me right away. After packing a toolkit of laxatives, an iron, a hairdryer, eggs, and other essentials, I secretly snuck into the art museum that night. First, I faked an emergency to lure the security guard away, then poured an entire bottle of laxative into his coffee mug. This dose was strong enough to knock out 10 bulls with ease. Then, I scrambled and swapped all the restroom keys on the board. Soon enough, the guard who drank the coffee felt terrible cramps and rushed away from his post. Taking advantage of the empty post, I quietly slipped into the vault where the painting was stored. While the guard was desperately testing every single key trying to unlock the restroom door, I had already begun executing my masterpiece swap operation. By the time I finished my entire operation, the guard, clenching everything to the absolute limit, still hadn't found the right key. Nick was still completely unaware of what happened overnight, and the unveiling ceremony began on schedule the next morning. Media and dignitaries gathered in great numbers at the museum, eagerly waiting to witness the true face of the world-famous masterpiece.